Wow, good morning to you Ugandans and the whole world. And the names of Mumza Ismail. Like I told you last time on our channel, today we are going to look at cabbages. How do you grow cabbages? How do you carry out site selection? How do you plant them? How do you maintain them? And which areas should you avoid? All we are going to look at it today. Like you have already seen, this field where I am, there is a lot of water. You can see this is a swampy area, and in between here we have intercrop with some passion fruit and some beans. But there is something, this was a demo farm for farmers, upon which we want to show farmers that there are some things which are not good to be done if a farm is to be successful. Like you have seen, there is a lot of water here. I think you can see it very well. Yet we had created these channels. So what is cabbage? Cabbage is in the family of brassica, and it's a foliar crop. It's a vegetable, and it's, in most cases we want to consider them as temperate crops, but it's not all that temperate, because it can do even in different places where conditions are not necessarily temperate. Like I said before, with cabbage it is easy to start. What do you need to have a cabbage field? Number one thing is you have to carry out a proper site selection on where or about on the site where you're going to plant your cabbage. Like the way you see, this site is not the best, though it is good in one thing, that the moisture is good, but it is too much. So since this site is not good, of course we can see some cabbage survived and others did not survive. So you have to look for a place which is well drained and with fertile alluvial soils, where we can ensure that there is not going to be stagnation, and there is not going to be anything like pest attack. First of all, the first key point is site selection. Look for a well drained, fertile site. Gentle slopes or gently sloping areas are the best for cabbage. Gentle sloping areas are the best for cabbage. As you can see, this cabbage, as you can see it, some are performing well, others are not performing well. You can see it. You can see it. So since this place is waterlogged, it ends up affecting the performance, in the sense that there is increased leaching of the nutrients, but also there is increased dumping off. So dumping off is simply rotting of these plants. They rot due to too much moisture, and they end up rotting, just like you see. We pulled out some of these ones, and dumping off for the old ones, it is signified by wilting. You see wilting. This is not the true color of cabbage. You can look at this crop. So each time you're going to go for cabbage, make sure you select the best site upon which you are going to plant it. But we also see not only site selection is important, but also seed selection. There are some cabbage varieties which can stand this environment, and there are those ones which cannot stand this environment. So depending on the country where you come from, of course there are different breeds of varieties which have been generated to suit particular environments. Wetlands are basically ideal for those ones which can stand higher amounts of water, as we see in this farm here. So this variety is not tolerant to high moisture content, as I'm going to be showing you the variety which is really tolerant to high moisture. I'm going to show it to you next. It is this variety here. This is one of the varieties which is relatively tolerant to high moisture content. So I would recommend farmers wherever you are to ensure that you select the best site. You can see how they are performing. You can see. Yes. And then the next thing that is very important for farmers to do is to do proper, should I call it land preparation. Land preparation is important. In other words, you have to clear your field very well, drain it very well, control the weeds, and then if you have seeds, then you can go for a nursery. If you have just bought seedlings, then you can come and plant. With nursery bed, in the next video we shall show you how to trace cabbage seeds, cabbage seedlings in the nursery bed, and how quick it can be, so that you can ensure or you can realize 100% success. Just like you see here, we can see here there is some performance, some good performance. I think you can see by your eyes. So the other thing is, after you planting your cabbage seedlings, what do you do next? The next thing is to ensure that you apply some fertilizer. We recommend the use of DAP. DAP is very important because it enhances on early root establishment. It enhances on early root establishment due to the rich content of phosphorus. For those who have done soil science, we know phosphorus encourages root development or root formation. So that's why we recommend a fertilizer called DAP. So that we can enhance on early root development. Then the other thing is, after you controlling the weeds and the applied fertilizers, but you also have to come in and control pests. Cabbage is one of those crops which are highly affected by lepidopterans. I mean here caterpillar-like insects, for those who don't know them. So they really affect cabbage, like you can see here. So sometimes you also have snails, like you can see it. You can see the snail. So you have really to bring some chemicals, the recommended chemicals, and you spray. For insects, flying insects, for example, on the Ugandan market, we can use dudufenos, dudu asomyclin. Dudufenos is, by the way, ideal it's ideal for lepidopterans. I mean those insects, though not insects necessarily, things like slugs, things like caterpillars, those ones can be controlled by dudufenos, at least for the Ugandan market. But also these other flying insects, you can use chemicals such as dudu asomyclin, or you can also use what we call tough gar. Then there are other varieties of chemicals you can use, or call them pests, insecticides, to control this. You can see the effect of these worms. So worms really strongly affect cabbage, since cabbage is a soft crop, and once cabbage is affected on the leaves, the biggest food we get from cabbage is just the leaves. We don't harvest the roots. So we have to protect the leaves, we have to work hard and ensure that the leaves are protected. So ladies and gentlemen, cabbage, its maturity time is approximately 3 months. I always avoid saying 2.5 months, because sometimes there are always variations. So we always throw in those other 2 weeks, so as to ensure that there is uniformity in maturity and uniformity in harvesting. So members, you need not worry about anything to do with cabbage. That all you have to do is to ensure that you select the right seed, you select the right site. Site selection should be the right place, I've told you the qualities of a good site. It should be gently sloping, it should be well drained, soil should be fertile, and should be at least free from any bush. If it is there, you can clear it. Then the other thing is, we talked about planting. If we are planting seedlings, of course you mark holes. The spacing of cabbage, sometimes we can use half a meter. That's an equivalent of about 60 centimeters. So you can space your cabbage by about 60 centimeters. Some people can space it by about 55 or 50 centimeters, but I would recommend 60 centimeters is the best because of the increased expansion of the foliar part of it. Then, like I said, you harvest at the 3rd month, that is towards the end of it, and basically that's it. But how do you apply these chemicals? Fertilizers can be applied by band. Sometimes I always recommend farmers to use foliar fertilizer to apply it direct. It's much more better than using these other forms of fertilizers, which require concentration around the root zone. So cabbage does not have so many or strong roots, so we would recommend foliar fertilizers in most cases for them if they are going to perform very well. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you, members. I remain Muhumza Ismail. For any inquiries, please, you can just go and check on my emails, but at the same time you can subscribe for more videos. We shall bring more about cabbage in the next video. Don't worry for those things you have missed. For the things that are not clear to you, you can drop in your messages. I can check on them, your comments, then I'll read them, then I see how best I can answer you. But you can, please don't forget to just subscribe and also like our video. Hope this video really makes it easy for you.